Hello and welcome to another edition of Sunday Night Soccer. I'm Jay here with my man Mike D. After the holidays, we got a big show planned. We're going to talk about NWSL expansion, some big news coming up here recently. Club mergers, which kind of goes on everywhere in all of our communities and seems to be a trend the last couple of years. Some Soccer Rebellion highlights. We're also going to talk about the biggest sporting events coming up in 2025, as well as our New Year's resolution, which we made it 1 week. We held on to it so far. All right.
Yeah.
So anyways, how you doing, man? You have a good holiday?
I'm good. Jay, hold on 1 second. 1 second.
Uh-oh, it must be good. I don't know.
All right. I just wanted to see what you would do if I left real quick and my family watches live in the living room, but they didn't even have it on. So I wanted to see your reaction.
I didn't say anything bad.
I just wanted to see what you said or what
I thought you were
so
coming back with like some Christmas present or something, you know? Your eye massager.
I just wanted to see what you. I'm good, man. I'm doing really good. I'm excited for this new year. Going back, when you run your own soccer business and organization with everything that we have going on, I can't wait for 2025. Like, honestly,
a lot of things. Yep,
a lot of
things
great
coming
things
up. Yep. So we're excited. So
how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, man. In the middle of a polar vortex right now. I don't know about you.
Snowing
a little bit. So lousy day today, but that's what happens in the winter. So we had a good Christmas. Yep, very good. Can't complain. So excited about all the things we have coming up this year that you and I talked about. And one of the big announcements about maybe 2 weeks ago that came out was an NWSL expansion team. The bid got down to 3 cities, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Denver. And NWSL just recently named their winner. And we're going to talk about the NWSL teams real quick. And we also have our special guest going to join us, Jessica, from our women's soccer. Jessica, how you doing?
Hey, there she is. What's up, Jessica?
I'm doing good. I'm excited about Denver. Hometown squad getting a team is always great to see. Wish it would have happened sooner.
Yeah. And so
when did you come here from Denver?
2016.
Okay.
So
by here, I mean Grand Rapids, or Kalamazoo, West Michigan, I should say.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead, Jay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
So just a little background. The NWSL had 14 teams. They added another one recently here this year, and they just announced that Denver is going to be their next team next year that will make 16. The NWSL signed a 4-year deal last year with ESPN, CBS, Prime Sports, and Scripps Ion Network, worth $60 million annually to show their games, which I think is great for women's soccer. Yeah. And in addition, another thing we just want to point out is there's also the USL Super League that started this year that only has 8 teams, but they have plans to expand next year in 2025. And you can see all those teams they're going to add, which will double their league, which will add 16 teams of their own. So, kind of a peculiar situation, I guess I would say. But give us your insight a little bit, Jessica, not obviously from the women's soccer standpoint, but, we're glad to have you on here as you're from Denver, as you said, as well. What does it mean for women's soccer? What are your takes on this?
Well, like I said, it's been a long time coming. Colorado has a very big soccer community, especially like growing up. There were so many clubs, so many different avenues to get into soccer, which I love, as well as we have 3 Colorado natives on the United States women's national team anyways. So, Colorado produces some really great women's soccer players. So it's a blessing that is finally coming around because their version of the USLW team, I think they played in the WPSL last year. One of their Colorado teams did, and they did phenomenal, as well as, they also had one in the USLW. They also did phenomenal. So I think it's been a long time coming for Denver. And I think Denver's probably ready to show everybody, just kind of what talent we have at home. And maybe one of the girls will come back home, Sophia Smith, Lindsey Horan,
right.
Valerie, any one of them want to come back home and play, that would probably be great too.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. So, would you say, compared to other places you've lived, is it a pretty good soccer culture in the Denver area?
I think so. I grew up playing year round. So I played during the summer, during the spring, during the fall, and during the winter. That's actually really where I got introduced to indoor soccer. And I used to love indoor soccer, in the winter, playing that, a lot more than playing outdoors. So I think on both ends of, either outdoor or indoor, they really do have quite a lot of talent. Even in like the rec league indoors, there are girls ranging from 18 all the way to 50, 60 years old still playing. So it's a very active community. Colorado prides itself on being a very active state. So a lot of people play soccer. Actually, a lot of kids I grew up with played soccer. So there's a very big community there.
Yeah. So Jay, I just want to point out, why did you have it on your face for the long time while she was talking? Like, it was just, we were just watching you nod for a minute.
I was trying to move it to her face.
Yeah, but you didn't. So we were just watching you for like 30 seconds. I feel like we need to apologize for any viewers watching.
I apologize to all of our thousands of viewers.
So, all right. So let me ask you this, Jessica. So you came to West Michigan, and so do you see a big difference as far as opportunity goes, as far as fandom goes, or is it pretty similar to I mean, because Denver is a much larger landscape than West Michigan is.
It is. I think the one difference is I don't want to talk bad about my own hometown, but I will say the only difference is in Colorado, since it is so spread out, there are so many clubs, so many leagues, so there's so much there that sometimes it's hard to get like the sense of, you're with a team and you're with that team. My team, luckily I was young enough. I played with the same girls from the time I was 11 till the time I was 18. I didn't club hop. I wasn't, we chose a club and we really stayed at that club. But I find now that there are so many clubs and so many different avenues to play that in a bigger city like Denver, it's hard to have that community of people who come out to the games and support the club and things like that, because someone might play on a club for 1 year and then skip on over to another club for the next year.
Yeah.
And, Denver has a lot of really great clubs, and a lot of times people want to be on the really, really great club. So I think the only difference, especially moving here, is there's a little bit more sense of community around soccer here, in the sense of like when I play with people here, like it's the same group of people and we've been playing together for a couple of years now. Whereas Colorado, it comes and goes, especially when I got into no longer playing club or high school or anything like that, people change teams or change leagues because there's so many there that then you don't have the same people to kind of play with and make a camaraderie with and get to know. So here I would say there's a little more culture.
Yeah, it's great because that bleeds into our next topic afterwards, or after this segment, about what we're talking about and if monopolizations are good in youth sports and what it does. And it's interesting, your take. And what I was curious about what you said so there were two pretty significant women pro teams that were kind of monopolizing the area.
The semi-pro, they're in the USLW and I think the WPSL.
Okay.
Because
Jay, did you find anything on who the team was going to be? For Denver?
No, I don't think they've released anything like that. We did find right now on the screen is an article straight from ESPN that they will be the 16th franchise. One of the things that I found interesting is that the franchise fee is double. It was $110 million for the team in Denver, which is double just a year or two ago what the latest expansion teams were. Anybody out there, if you have any comments, send that in to us and hit us up because I couldn't find much more on that. That's very interesting to me that, I don't know how that happens, that it doubled. So 110 million, maybe that says a lot for the popularity and the growth of women's soccer. But it has a little bit about, the investors and who that will be. The group was called For Denver FC, but I don't know if that's officially, the name or anything like that. That was just kind of the name of their investment group.
Yeah. So just to kind of reach, so last year NWSL had 14 teams. And then so the 15th team was Boston. Boston, it was I think it's like I forget Boss something is a 15th team that they'll be playing in 25, and then now it's Denver. But what I find interesting with this is like Charlotte FC is a good example of a team that had a USL team and they built this foundation, and then MLS say, okay, this product can exist here. And I'm wondering, I mean, because they have to be doing their homework, especially if they're charging $110 million to be able to buy in. So that's a significant amount of money to be able to do that. So the landscape, and then I think there's also investment from the league to make sure that this can exist from logistics standpoint, from creating fandom to the support from the surrounding communities. So I'm guessing that whatever was there before, like to what Jessica was talking about, must have been successful enough. And I'm curious to see if one of those teams are the ones that are elevating to this next level. And if they take something that's already kind of rooted in the community, you know what I mean?
Or do they start something completely brand new? Yeah. No, that's interesting.
It is interesting. So Jessica, how do you feel about this? So Jay was telling me, so besides this, they also have a League MX crossplay that they do in the summer, similar to what MLS does. And so they have 5 groups. So through Group E, where they have a cross-play tournament with League MX. Jay, you were saying that the NWSL plays the USL?
No, they don't play them.
Oh, they don't play each other.
This year,
that's another miss.
Welcome to United Soccer in the United States, is that they started the USL Super League. And Jess, I don't know your thoughts on this, but just mine in general, I find it very, I don't know, in one way it's fitting because this is what happens on the club level, is that there's always these leagues that compete against each other instead of getting along and forming one league that's, under one umbrella. But the USL Super League, started this year. They do play a different season where they play more of the European schedule in the fall and the spring. So they're playing right now. And the NWSL is more, MLS schedule, but they're competing against each other. And, you can see on the screen there, they're going to add 8 more teams to the USL Super League, which is a women's league. Same level. It's a top tier in women's soccer. Instead of just putting together a nice, solid league of 30 women's teams, which would be great. Just my thoughts. I don't know. What about you, Jess?
Yeah. I mean, what happens when the USL Super League wants to do a Denver team, or the NWSL wants to get a team in an area that already has, the Super League? I think hopefully they wouldn't allow that to happen because they'd realize there's already a team there. But also I can see some of them being like, well, they're not in our league, so let's make our own team in this. And then we have, even as big as these cities are, having 2 professional women's teams fighting against each other for the talent. All you're going to do is split the best players up onto 2 different teams when you could have one really good, stacked team, hoping and assuming that they go for local talent and not just,
I just think, it would be better for women's soccer in general.
So it's like, if we have so many teams on so many different leagues, is there ever going to be a crossover? Are you guys ever going to play each other? Or are we just going to have 2 huge leagues with different teams in different areas? I think it would be smart of them to be like, you know what? Hey, the Orlando Pride is going to play, Bay City FC or whatever, whatever it is. I think it would be not only a generator of revenue for both teams if they play them, but then it can be like obviously it doesn't matter in the league or the standings, but it's friendly. It's a good way to get, different teams playing each other. But also, unless they both agree to that and both the leagues are cool with each other, I don't know if that's going to happen either.
Yeah. That's, maybe someday Mike D will have like an ABA NBA merger,
Yeah. I mean, seriously. And I feel like women's sports are going to be the first one to do it. I think they've been figuring out everything first with this, but I mean, we're building this thing completely opposite of what breeds community, what breeds culture around the game. And I don't know, but this is exciting. I think that Denver having a team is great. I know that Denver is prosperous in a lot of ways. I had a meeting with someone the other day that's from Denver, and he says he doesn't even recognize Denver anymore in the sense of how much it's grown. It's huge.
I don't even like to go back anymore.
That's exactly what he said.
Because every time I go home, what used to take me 30 minutes to get somewhere now takes 2.5 hours. It's bumper to bumper traffic. There's new buildings and things being built up everywhere, which, you know, not that that's not good for the city, but at the same time, you know, I miss getting somewhere in 30 minutes when I go back home. And now it's kind of like every time I go, I'm like, all right, someone's going to have to pick me up because I'm not driving in this anymore.
Right.
Like, I'm used to the back roads where I see 5 cars. I don't want to do this today. But yeah, no, it's changed a lot, especially like, you know, the neighborhoods I grew up in. The last time I went home, we were driving around and I was just pointing out the window like, oh my gosh, like everything was different. Everything was changed. And so it's, yeah, it's I wish it had stayed how it was, but you know, growth.
Yeah. Well, Jess, we appreciate you hopping on and giving us a
Yes,
great
thank you guys.
perspective. Absolutely. You're always welcome from Zoo City. We always appreciate your perspective on women's soccer for us here and for everyone watching. So keep up the great work with Zoo City, and congratulations to your hometown Denver on the new NWSL team.
And Jess, before you go, do you have any plugs that you want to shout out with what you got going on with Zoo City? And
our very first home game for the women's team is January 11th, 7:30 at the Soccer Zone in Portage, Michigan.
Nice.
$10 tickets. And if you want to check out our socials and everything like that, we have all the information about when, where, how, why. But it's the very, very first game, not only for us, but for the whole entire WMLIS. So it's the very first game of the season. So we are looking to make it as big as we can. So if you know anybody, come on out. We would love to see everybody.
That's awesome.
Well, awesome.
Yeah. Good luck with the season, Jess.
Yes, thank you.
We'll have you on soon. See you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, Mike D. Yep, she's great. We love having her on the show. So appreciate it, Jessica. So moving on to our second topic, kind of what you alluded to there earlier with the club mergers, is one thing that you and I, and I'm sure we're not the only ones in the country, have started to notice is that the smaller clubs, in my experience, it seems like since COVID, a lot of the smaller soccer clubs, youth clubs, are starting to go by the wayside, and they're joining. They either can't survive or they're merging and joining big clubs. And there's all these super clubs kind of coming together. And I know you have some local issues that you might want to talk about in your area as well. But before we move on to our second topic, just a reminder to follow, like, and subscribe our channel here. Watch us every Sunday night. Also follow the Soccer Rebellion and Straight from the Training Ground on all our social media. And we have a newsletter coming out, a lot of exciting things. And join the conversation with us each week, even during the week on our social media. If you have comments, topics you'd like for us to discuss as we continue to shape and redefine the U.S. soccer culture. So moving on to our second topic, Mike D, we want to talk about mergers with club soccer.
Where are my keyboard warriors? I need them out for this because I want to argue. I want to see your points of view. So if you're listening to this, get on the keyboard and fight with me, or just let me see your opinion.
Bring it on.
Yeah, bring it. This is for the community, man. We're listening, we're learning as much as you guys are. So we're not experts necessarily on the matter. It's just what we've seen in our experience and what we think will help. We're trying to make a better landscape.
So, we just talked about at the highest level, right? Professional women's soccer, the highest level in the United States. They're still going on and talking about, we can't get along. We got to have 2 separate leagues. They're competing. They're not playing each other. They're competing against each other to try to build something. And we're all seeing that in our local communities as well. Smaller clubs either can't survive because they're literally being eaten up, or 2 smaller clubs, or in your case, where you said you have an issue where 2 clubs are just merging together. Hey, I got 10 or 15 teams and you have 10 or 15 teams, but hey, if we get together, we have 30 teams. So some of the reasons, more teams, obviously, power play gives you more strength, helps you build a brand, might help you provide or combine more resources. And, at the bottom line, at the end of the day, Mike D, you and I both know money. So tell us your takes. We do have a couple comments here coming in real quick. So one of our Erics is on. We talking American?
What's up, Eric?
Foreign. I think we're talking American. We're talking local.
Yeah.
Talking local youth soccer clubs in your community, Club A, Club B, 10 minutes down the road, and they're getting together. And now they're saying, hey, let's merge together and make Club, Super FC, and we'll take over the world. And pretty soon, I'm not saying there's positives or negatives. I think there's both sides to it. But Mike D, go ahead.
So I'm conflicted in some ways, but the reason why I think in theory some of this sounds like the right way to do it. Thank you, Jessica. Hold on before I move on with my spiel. January 17th at 7:30 p.m. at Soccer Zone in Portage. Make sure you guys check out Zoo City on her socials.
Yeah.
They're doing amazing jobs, and she does all the graphic design, which is beautiful. And what they're doing for the women's game and what they're providing for the West Michigan community is absolutely wonderful. So make sure you guys go out and support. If you really want to be a steward of the game, like these are the people that you need to, that are putting their passion and their money behind it. And they're trying to do it the right way. So go support Zoo City FC. Big things coming for them. So here's my problem with it. So in theory, I think some of it sounds good, because I do think you need to have a pyramid somewhat of approach for soccer in the States. But when clubs dictate it, the tactics are business. The tactics are about money. The tactics are about building a stronger brand. And yes, that's American culture, but there's no promotion of sport. And I don't think you necessarily get a better product at the end of the day. I don't think there's anything when you do it simply just to be more of a juggernaut and to say you have this underneath your umbrella. I don't see where promotion of the sport comes first. I think that your network is larger. And then after you join, the first thing you're selling is that you're selling your pathway. You're selling your network, which to me, why parents will eat that up is based because that's status. My kid plays for this, and this is that status. So development comes from passion. Passion should come from good coaches. Passion should come from the player. And then we shouldn't be shoving a dream down someone's throat. Too much have we made club system about going to the next level rather than owning your craft, enjoying the game, and learning how to be a better person through good people and good coaches, and creating a learning environment for players. As a coach, Jay, you already know that the game and coaching the game is so much more than X's and O's and tactics in your training session. It's about connecting with the players. It's about helping them go through adversity, learn through adversity, how to self-develop, not only just on the pitch, but learning how to do that and then have a passion. Like I never made it to the top level. I never made it pro, but this game is everything to me. And it's because, it's what I got to enjoy. I had a good coaches. And when I got to levels to where I didn't have good coaches and they applied too much pressure and they took away creative freedoms for me, it was a turn away. And right now we seem so focused on that. And the biggest issue with some of these mergers is because in theory, from a business sense, we're putting these structures in a box to where it's hard for a parent to dictate what's right and what's wrong for the players, because we have these imaginary structures around what it takes to reach that next level. And it's not real. If your kid really is and wants this game to reach the next level, he will show you, she will show you by the effort that he puts in and by wanting to play more than just to practice twice a week. There's things that he'll do. I think when you merge, you get more money. So hopefully that goes into a facility, a better training ground. I don't know if that necessarily gets you better coaching. I think maybe you get more networking opportunities. Absolutely. But again, we're talking about youth soccer. We're talking about youth sports.
Yep.
Why is this the focal point of a club? Why isn't sport? Why isn't creating a friendly environment? Why isn't nurturing development the priority? And so those are my questions and hesitations when I see that. And, we had last week or last couple of weeks on our show, we talked about the MLS Next, coming. And so then MLS Next team, now there's 2 MLS Next pro teams in the small city of Grand Rapids. So now there's 2. And now the merger was between Midwest United and Rangers, which are both still, very reputable clubs that we have here. And I know a few of the coaches they're great coaches. By all means, am I not trying to shit on these clubs? I'm not trying to say that. But it just seems like business move against business move. right? And I think that's what to my core bothers me, is that there's not a sense of promotion for the game first. And if they are, they're selling it to me wrong. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing this as, hey, this is best for the pathway. And there's still, what's the dollar amount attached now to your sale, to what you're saying and why you did it?
Well, I think number one, you can increase the dollar amount.
Exactly my point.
Because
what does that look like?
You're saying you can promote or provide something even better than what you were before. I want to mention something, if you don't mind, earlier that you and I talked about off camera, and we'll get to Eric's comment here in a second. Earlier, we were talking about this, and you and I were talking. You had a great point. You want to tell everybody about what you said about coaches and why aren't coaches working together anyways?
I didn't know you were going that route. I thought you were going to talk about something different, and I got ointment for that, so it's fine. But
what do you mind?
So what did you? So what did I say? I have no idea what I said. So you tell me. I'm ADHD, Jay. I don't know what the hell I say.
I know. I know. Trust me. No, we were talking earlier, and I was going to put on cue cards for you. I didn't have time to make the cue cards.
Hey, Nike does that for me at events, so you're good.
No, we were talking about this, and you said you were talking about coaches, and we kind of went off in another direction about coaches. And why aren't all coaches working together anyway?
Yeah, that's
just because if we're in the same community, and you're with one club and I'm with another, and you coach U14 boys and I coach U9 girls. Why can't we work together or collaborate anyways?
Yeah, and I
thought that was a great point.
That's an imaginary structure, that we think we're limited to working together and doing what's right for the players. Where I think there needs to be a pathway for coaches to talk.
I think it's almost like we're adversaries.
Yeah,
instead of working together.
We feel like, oh, we're so loyal to these clubs that but that's, if we care about these players, we should be working together and being able to really filter what our top level looks like within each community and bringing the best talent together. And better yet, we should give players better opportunities for that and not make it choose like they're choosing some religion to where one's going to promise and get you to the promised land. And so it's but in theory, like what's the best way to do this? And to me, it comes from a federation that actually cares and is grassroots, that is more concerned about accessibility, that is more concerned about an equal playing field, and then being able to level up from there and giving everyone that opportunity
and development
and that's where it is. And somehow being able to structure something to where we can get rid of financial barriers, but that's on federation. It's not the limiting of clubs. I think there's a governing party over the clubs that don't need to get muckied with that, because they're doing what they're supposed to do and try to get bigger and better and say that they're the best. Like it's not like it's almost like I can't blame them.
Yeah.
All right. I want to see what my man Eric says. So he said, personally not a fan. This happens in AAU basketball now. I've heard they have the main teams now, and I think it can stunt development for the newly introduced players, but they're definitely pros as well. Right. So you're weeding, like people already ingrained have this networking leverage, right? They have this opportunity leverage. So, all right, go on, Eric, go on with your bad self. Go ahead.
Yeah. Don't remember who you had on as a guest a while ago, but they spoke about how he would have so many more clubs for each city in every state. I like his thoughts. And I just think real quick, I think there's a place in each community for smaller clubs. You and I talked about this earlier in the week, off camera, that to get kids introduced, we know the financial barriers, all the barriers and all those kind of things to soccer in our country, but there's a place for smaller clubs. Not every kid wants to play on an ECNL team.
Exactly right.
Let's be honest. Not every parent wants to pay, $5,000-$10,000 to travel all over the country for those kind of things. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that.
And that's another good point, Jay. I don't mean to cut you off, but that's another good point. A lot of this, the clubs are listening to what the parents are saying and wanting, right? They're listening to their customer, and they're getting their most money from people that want to reach that next level. Yeah. And they're saying that's their biggest draw, is how many wins that you have.
Yeah.
What leagues can you be in?
How many tournaments?
Don't even start on the leagues. Like it's crazy how many leagues pop up. Yeah. And it's some of the parents need to understand more or less, like, your kid's not going to be pro. And if he does, and I don't want to take that dream away from him. If he wants to chase that dream, or she wants to chase that dream, go for it.
Yeah.
But there's
Yeah.
so much more than it's. You got to think outside what the club offers. Like there is so much sacrifice to get to that level. And as a kid, listen to what the pros that came from the streets, the best players, Zidane, Ronaldinho, Neymar. They learned from their own kind of self-propelled motivation. It wasn't structured environments like it's.
Yeah.
You don't need to pay, like, and that's how we have it right now. Well, if you want this, pay for it. Pay for this networking. You don't get networking, and that's what it is. Well, if you really want to be seen, this is, we're gonna have these showcases. You're gonna be in front of this. You're gonna have to pay for that. That's business. That's not soccer. That's not sport. That's not community. That's wrong. That's not what this is all about. Go ahead, Aaron. My guy, Aaron Lockwood. What's up, Aaron?
I want to go back real quick before we get to Aaron's comment about what Jess said earlier about club hopping. I've seen a huge increase in that just in the last 3 or 4 years, where kids and parents do that. And I think the parents a lot of times are just honestly uneducated. It's so confusing. You and I talk about this all the time. It's so confusing with the different leagues and teams and different things that are out there, that a lot of times I think that they are just trying to do what's best for their kids. But it's confusing and it's difficult for the parents. But like you alluded to with the great players, you're not benefiting by leaving one team and going to another each year, and just trying to find a good team. And I think these kind of things are just always out there. It's very frustrating. So, but Aaron says, I feel like the merger that you're talking about in Midwest in your area is a true development pathway and allows players an easier pathway to ECNL or MLS next.
So is easier the right way? Like, again, I'm going back to like what's right for the player. And like for instance, you have, even in professional sports, you have a player that's a superstar on one team, goes to another team and he fades away. Right. And that's the benefit, I think, of having multiple clubs, is that
Jimmy Butler,
sure. You can find the right club that fits your kid's development. And a lot of these kids, let's be honest, we're talking about youth sports. How big is the mental component to all this, especially after COVID years and the kids we're dealing with? There's a little bit more timidness. There's a little bit more social anxiety that we're dealing with. There should be a little bit more emphasis on like the right place for this kid, not because I need a left back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where, and I'm glad, and I'm sure it does, Aaron. I'm sure it does. It does provide more of a pathway because there's more cohesion with two clubs, right? I'm sure that there's a little bit more accessibility, which I do think is great. And again, I'm not sitting here saying that it's terrible. I do think that there is a place for this type of camaraderie for clubs to come together. I just think it's not for the right reason sometimes. And I think this was in response to Revolution. Like, that's what I'll say. I think this was in response to Revolution getting this MLS Next Pro nod. And this was that. If this doesn't happen, I'm not sure if this merger happens. That's my question. And so to me, that seems that feels like business tactics. That doesn't feel like true, and I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm speaking out of my ass. That's just my feelings on it. The timing of it and everything. They could have had this in the works maybe before. I don't know. But I'm sure once the stadium announcement was being built and when they got lieu of that, the writing was on the wall because it was Van Andel and DeVos. So you knew that Revolution was going to get it. So I just wish there was a little bit more honesty on what's really going on. We took away some of the salesmanship of how we're getting players to sign up. Like, I know when I tell my players on my team, my youth club, go to other tryouts, see how you stack up. What I get back is, oh, they wanted me to stay. They wanted me to sign right now.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, oh, dude, it's like, I got it on that Facebook thing. Someone told me like they live in a little bit of like a rural area next to us. And they asked me, what club should I go for? I can't answer that right off the bat just to show that I have this knowledge for Grand Rapids. There's so many questions that you need to answer to provide what the right club is for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to break down what skill level your kid's at. What does he respond to coaching wise? What are you willing to travel for? Like, all these things, like what's important to you that you need to be able to answer. And that's why I think having a lot of clubs, that versatility is good.
Well, I think versatility, like you said, different
Ways. Yes.
levels of commitment, different
yes.
levels of what you want. And I'm with you. I hope that they both can continue to exist in our country. I understand that there are some people and players that want that high level superpower club and what they're going to provide. But I also think that too many people get talked into that too easily, or maybe they just don't understand. And there's a lot of people out there that just need to be introduced to smaller groups and smaller clubs that can provide a great thing. Like you said, you might have a great coach, you might have a great experience at those levels. I think hopefully we can find something where that continues to exist, and these big mergers don't just take over every state, like we talked about, where there's only 4 or 5 clubs in an entire state because they eat up all the smaller clubs everywhere.
Yeah. So if you're a parent, Jay, if you have a club promising you the moon, that should be a red flag, saying we're the best and we do this.
Yes.
That should be a red flag. If they're not talking about specifics on what they can do for your kid, if they don't offer like a sample of what they do, like that's honest, like that transparency. Like there's a lot of over promising sales pitches. Yeah, there's a lot of, it's like going to a mechanic almost. Like I go to a mechanic, I have to trust what the expert's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of that in the soccer, and I think that's going to catch up to a lot of these clubs eventually as soccer gets more ingrained. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's just that's my worry with some of these things. And when I hear that, when I send my players to these tryouts, and because I want them to make the best choice for them, and we talk honestly about them. Like I tell my players, I'm never going to be mad if you leave. Like I want you to do what's right for you. And I know that the club that I coach for, here's what I believe: that you are going to be in the best environment with coaches that I know of, that just, or not the best, I shouldn't say best, but just passionate coaches that really care, about your development, and you're going to be taught the right fundamentals. You're going to have someone that cares, that does his homework, that takes pride in their training, and that's going to try to put the best regiment for you together. And it's going to be focused on player development. Like that's what I can tell you. Like we take care and we take pride, and we're not overly big. Like we want to make it more of a, personal experience. Like that's why I'm with my club. And plus the DOC that I have was my coach, Jolt Batlin. He's the best coach that I know. He just, the way that he explained things, the way he methodically breaks things down, he just knows how to make it make sense. And I think he's his keen eye for focusing on the right things. And so, and that's great. And so I want to learn from him, and that's where I'm at. But I do think that there's other great clubs. I think that a lot of the clubs have great coaches where they can offer a lot. And I do think there's an importance for other coaches, for players to get experience from other coaches, to learn adversity and learn how to adapt to certain things. But I also, like there's like a player that grew up playing a 6 since he was 10 years old, right? Goes to college, plays the 6, that plays with a team that passes, that knows just possession soccer, where every game they play is 70-30% possession. What happens then when he gets to that next level and he's forced to play more defense? You know what I mean? Like that adversity of learning different scenarios and what your position might need from you, I think is extremely important through youth development. And so always being on, and so being on that best team, I don't know if that's always like, there's so much to learn from losing, and so much learn from being the top guy to a role player. Like there's
perseverance.
There's all that. And that's
exactly what's missing.
And that's what I'm saying about the clubs. There's no look at it like that. This is the best of the best. You're going to get the best pathways, the best network, blah.
Here's my last,
holistically.
My last comment. You take player A, they're this skill level, and you put player A on another team, right? That's a better team.
Yeah.
That player is not any better than they were yesterday. You know what I mean? They think that they are. They're no better. Yeah. They're on a better team. Mm-hmm. Their team's winning all the time, and everyone's sold on that idea that they're not any better. They were the same person they were yesterday. They just have a different jersey on a better team. Yeah. You get better, like you talk about all the time, with the passion, the time you spend away from training on your own. And those are things that everyone else can't provide for you. You have to
And
do it
that's
on
where
your own.
coaches need to come together. Is that
Yep.
that understanding is not foreign. Most of us know this. So what are we not doing, creating a platform where players just play and we
Yep.
strip the badges and the clubs away and we create a better and facilitate more just organic playing where kids are making decision away from coaching. Like
Yeah,
that's where we
absolutely.
can really make it. We want to see development here in the States skyrocket. It's that. But you know what we're afraid of? Poaching.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. You're going to steal my player, which is true.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's true.
Yep.
You know, but that's we got to put it in the players' hands a little bit more, and we got to
Well,
be
that's a
more transparent.
great segue here to our next topic. We have some highlights. I'll let you introduce it here while I play the video.
So this is our first 3v3 tournament back at a pop-up tournament. 1 meg, 2 megs, 3 megs. Get out! One more time. One more time. Ah. All right.
Love it.
Was that
Love
bad
it.
defense, or was that just? I mean,
Good skill. Good skill.
It's a little bit of both. But here's what I'll say: look at his patience. There is so much composure
Yeah.
for him to wait for that tiny little space to open up. He knows where he's going.
Yeah.
He's baiting this guy. Come get it, because this guy.
Yeah.
What is this guy? What is this guy showing him already? I'm going to
Yeah.
over anticipate. I'm going to come at you with speed.
Overcommit.
I'm just gonna outwork, which is like that is so much white suburban players right there. Because I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna just everything's full speed. Bah, 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 bah. And this was so like, do it again.
Composure on the ball. Yep, I love it. No, you're right. We'll watch one more time. Soccer Rebellion highlights.
Do it one more time. Here we go.
There's
That's
one.
a turn. 1, 2. Okay, so it's 2. Ooh. But all he did is take advantage of his overcommitment. And this poor guy in the yellow, God bless him. Like I'm not trying that. That guy's awesome. Like he's the best. Like he's mad aggressive. I would love to coach a guy like that.
Yep. But it's interesting. Just some highlights. Make sure you check out the Soccer Rebellion there. Just a free plug for you. But before we move on to our next topic, we got a special guest joining us. I hope everyone's excited. I know I am, because you never know what's going to happen when this guy's with us. But make sure you like and subscribe our channel. We're here for everybody to help create a good soccer culture and redefine the soccer culture in our country. So check out everything, all the links below.
Get
check
some thumbs up for your
social
boys.
Media. Absolutely. So our next, it's New Year's. Before we get into our New Year's resolutions, we already talked about last episode. We're going to bring on one of the Erics. We're very excited to have him on here. So one of our new our 3 Erics, I think we're up to now. I don't even know what we're up to. All right.
There he is.
I'm gonna put him right there. Boom. There he is.
That's my guy. It's my brother.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
We're glad to have you with us. So our next topic we're going to talk about is we have a big sports schedule coming up. Okay. For 2025, we made a list. I'll show everyone the list, and then Mike D, you kind of tell everybody about what you're thinking with this topic and this list.
I got it.
All right. So there's our list of the big upcoming major sporting events. I won't read everything.
Talk about the first one first, Jay.
Tomorrow,
talk about that first one. Yeah,
2 p.m.
tomorrow.
Eastern. AC Milan, Inter Milan, Italian Super Cup final.
Who's in that? Who's on AC Milan? Our boys.
Yunus Musa
and Pulisic.
Oh yeah.
So if anyone, just if you didn't watch the highlight of McKennie versus Pulisic on the game on Saturday, McKennie had one of the best flicks and a little spin move. He looked like he was playing Madden. It's one of the best. And then Pulisic had a PK. But anyway, this is going to be a great game. I can't wait to watch it 2 p.m. on Monday. So
yep. So
that's my
make
plug.
Sure you
yeah,
check that out.
Tomorrow.
Obviously, you can run down the list of major events there: the Super Bowl, March Madness, the Masters, the FA Cup Finals, Stanley Cup, NBA Finals, World
Champions
Series,
League Finals. Yeah,
Champions League Finals. So you can see the list there. So Mike D, tell everybody a little bit about what you're thinking. What's your goal here for this?
Okay.
What you want to do?
We were going to do a graphic, but I decided to do this like 10 minutes before the show. So
Typical
Eric, we got you
fashion
on
for Sunday Night Soccer.
So we will make a post, but we're going to do like a March Madness bracket, and we're going to decide what the most exciting sport event of the year is. So we're going to go through this together. And since there's 3 of us, we can vote. So we're going to do this quickly. So we have 2 play-in games. All right. So we have 2 play-in games.
Wait, real quick. How do you not have the college football national championship on this list?
Because we forgot. So,
Because I mean, this is going to be the year Penn State wins it since 1987.
You are right.
So.
And listen, there's other ones on here that we didn't mention. There's the
we couldn't get everything. All right.
Yeah. There's a lot that we didn't mention.
We didn't want to put a 64 team bracket out, you know.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. We'll expand it next year.
So because the Special Olympics is this year in Italy. So that's a big one too that we're not going to have on this list, but there's a lot. So, all right. So the play-ins are Wimbledon, US Open, and then the Italian Super Cup and the Winter X Games. So we'll start with the Italian Super Cup and the Winter X Games. Eric, what do you got?
Super Cup.
Jay?
Super Cup.
I got Super Cup too. Okay. So Super Cup wins.
Easy.
Okay. So we're going to go down this list. So against that, so they just got the play-in. So we'll stay on this side of the bracket. Super Bowl or Super Cup? Eric?
Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
Jay?
Oh, I'm going to say Italian Super Cup.
I got Super Bowl. No, I don't. I got Super Cup. So we're going to go Super Cup, move forward.
Oh, there you go.
I'm sorry because Giants aren't in it. I don't really care.
No, I'm on a soccer show too. I understand.
Yeah. So WNBA Finals or March Madness?
WNBA Finals.
I got to go March Madness.
WNBA Finals. That was super hyped this year.
Come on, Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, that was good.
Masters or Kentucky Derby?
I'm gonna go with the Derby.
Okay.
Oh, I gotta go to the Masters. One of my favorites.
I got Derby too.
Oh, come on.
I'm not a golf guy.
Jay, it's kind of weird. It's like you're dealing with 2 brothers.
FA Cup or Stanley Cup?
FA Cup.
FA Cup, absolutely. One of the greatest sporting events in the world.
Jay, why don't you take a minute to talk about the FA Cup and what it actually is? Because I think a lot of people don't understand.
Tremendous. It's the Open Cup competition in England. Takes place. The big boys all start now in January, so it's been going on.
Open Cup meaning that the big clubs pay against the small clubs. Like everyone can play.
In January,
US tries to do it, but they're not doing it right.
And they draw it out of the hat, and you're going to see in late January and February, you're going to see someone like Manchester City get drawn out of a hat to play away at Tranmere Rovers, a team that no one's ever heard of. And they're going to go through their lineup, and they're going to say, this guy is a full-time plumber by day. And these guys train. I'm serious. And they train. Their ground holds 1,000 people, and it's in this tiny town. And here comes Man City playing in a one game. Winner moves on, losers out. Awesome. And it's one of the greatest sporting events in the world.
It really is.
People just don't know about. But FA Cup, check it out.
Okay. All right, going on the side. So Super Cup, WNBA Finals.
WNBA Finals.
Super Cup.
WNBA Finals.
Oh, he's going against this team.
That was hard for you.
I'm
Soccer
sorry.
And Italian.
I get it. I just WNBA, man. I'm a fan right now. All right, Derby or FBA Cup? Easy. All right, we got this one. Derby or FA Cup?
FA Cup.
I got FA Cup too. Okay, WNBA Finals or FA Cup?
I want to go WNBA Finals just because of how much more hype it is right now, especially in America.
Okay, fair enough. That's
a
great reason.
FA Cup. Sorry.
FA Cup, unfortunately. FA Cup. I 100% agree. Okay, so FA Cup is in the finals. So this is what this side of the bracket looks like. FA Cup is in the finals.
I can't wait to get this on social media.
Okay.
Your handwritten bracket.
Okay.
No edit. Spelling mistakes and all.
We talk about culture for the people.
Hey, there we go. All right.
So are you writing it in crayon? Are you writing in crayon?
No, I got a nice pen. Relax. Okay. I went to Staples before I did this. Wimbledon or US Open? Eric, you already know. Okay. It's US Open, Jay. I'm just playing the odds already.
All right.
Why is it US Open?
Because you're from
New York.
Yeah.
All right. So would you say something different?
No, it's US Open. I just wanted to know why you thought that.
Jay,
I'm
would you
not-
say? Would you have said Wimbledon?
Yeah.
You would have.
I
That's
just
what I
feel it's a
don't
more
like about you.
global
I
event.
don't like that about you. Okay, U.S. Open.
I don't like a lot of things about you, but it's all right.
Oh, here's
That's
a good
what
one.
makes this. That's what makes this show
That could be
great.
next year's cross culture.
Okay,
James
so
list.
3 things I don't like about you.
FIFA Club World Cup in the United States,
Okay.
Women's UEFA Euros.
I'm going to go with the Club World Cup
Ooh.
because I think that's such a different. That's something that's never really happened on American soil.
Yeah, I'll
Bingo.
probably have to go with that.
That's the reason on American soil. I think is the biggest reason for me.
Yeah.
Because the last,
That's
I think England won the last
a
women's
tough
Euros,
one.
and that was so exhilarating to watch. I
that's a
loved
tough-
watching it. That's a
Yeah.
tough
That's a
one.
tough
Those are
matchup.
juggernauts. So we got the okay.
Who
so
did
FIFA
this
Club-
seeding process?
I just put it in order. Shut up. It doesn't matter, right? It's all going to the same place. All right. Boxing championship, which is going to be in like Kazakhstan, or U.S. Open.
U.S. Open.
U.S. Open.
I got boxing, but okay, we got U.S. Open. I like boxing a lot.
I like
All right.
boxing a lot too. I just don't think I can name you one boxer right now. So
I know, but that's why it doesn't matter to me. I'll watch. That's actually what I like about boxing is I can literally watch any fight. Like I can dive into it. All
so
right.
aggressive.
Champions League finals or the NBA finals?
NBA finals.
Champions League final.
NBA finals. Not even a question. Not an EPL guy.
Champions
no,
League.
no, I'm sorry.
Champions League is not
I know.
EPL.
I digress. I don't know why I said that. I'm just. The NBA is like.
I'm your new host here for the soccer
I know,
podcast.
relax. All right, we'll take that off. I don't know why I said that, but I just. I don't know. I like that. That's a hard one. I love.
Now we'll
Champions
take
League.
time out for a commercial break.
You're right. But NBA, I'm a huge Knicks fan. Bottom line, I think we're gonna have a chance to be in the NBA finals this year. World Series or the African Cup of Nations. That's a big one. So Eric, that's soccer. That's like
No, I know what that is, Michael. Thank you very much.
See, how he
I
talks
think
to
it's
me
gonna
sometimes.
for me it's World Series.
I'd have to say World Series.
I don't want to say World Series, but I'd say World Series. I really like that's a bit like this side of the bracket was difficult.
I'll really enjoy watching the African Cup, but I think I'll have more of a rooting interest in the World Series.
100%. And that's being that homegrown.
Yeah.
Okay. NBA Finals or World Series? Ooh.
NBA Finals,
NBA Finals.
NBA Finals for me too.
especially if the Knicks are in, because man, if they win, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I will be crying.
Yeah, I will be crying. I cried when the Giants won it twice. FIFA Club World Cup or U.S. Open?
Club World Cup.
Club World Cup.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. NBA Finals or FIFA Club World Cup?
I'm going to stick with the Club World Cup.
Ooh.
FIFA World Cup. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, to have all these teams come out and play in America on American stadiums where fans can really see it, that's something so different.
I call bullshit. Because dude,
Really?
honestly, I listen, I love soccer more than anything in the world. I would be more excited to see, and here's the caveat.
I
If
was gonna
Knicks are in
say.
the NBA finals,
Yeah.
Different, yes.
but that's what I'm assuming.
But I'm
But
just
what I'm saying is overall, as just the sporting event, not knowing who's playing,
I agree
I
with you.
think
It's a better spectacle. I agree with you.
yeah. So
FIFA World
it
Cup
could
is June 15th through July 13th. So at the same
that's
time
why
as
it's
World
tough
Cup
to go
plays.
one of the biggest events of 20, like the biggest sporting events of 25, because you don't know who's playing. You don't know the storyline.
And here's what I'll say. I'll back this up with this. This June 15th through July 13th will be nuts. It'll be so much fun.
Yeah.
Like those games, like during, like that will be like the best time the World Cup was when we had it in the winter. You remember that? In
Yeah.
Russia?
Yeah.
Because
Qatar.
it was like
Qatar. Yeah.
being able to watch that like during that time in like a, I don't know, kind of like a dead period, not when you want to go outside and stay inside,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
the best. Was the best. I don't know. When there's so much soccer going on like that, that is the best. That 100%.
Will they have to do that again in Saudi Arabia now? Will they have to do the winter?
No, I don't know. Is
know.
that the next one? Is that 2030?
No, I think it's a little bit down the ways, but they just got awarded one of them. Yeah.
The NBA Finals could end up being, like the Milwaukee Bucks and the Denver Nuggets.
This is valid. I wouldn't watch that. You're right.
So I mean,
you're right. This is almost that's not fair comparison, because that's almost like the NBA playoffs versus the FIFA Club World Cup. Like that's really,
to me. I mean, the NBA Finals could be great, like you said, if it's your team, the Knicks.
Yeah.
If it's a team, if it's a storyline, like the Lakers, Celtics, or LeBron's in it, or something like that. But it could also be kind of a dud, To me personally, I'm just saying, I love basketball, but
Yeah. So okay. So I think we're all right. FIFA Club World Cup. So here we are. We have our.
We down to the Final Four.
Yep.
All right.
No, not the Final Four.
The final game.
The championship. So FA Cup.
Oh.
Versus FIFA Club World Cup.
FIFA Club World Cup.
I'm gonna say FA Cup. Leave it
are
to Mike D.
You son of a bitch.
I'm telling you, listen, real quick before we get to the final vote. I love March Madness. College basketball, as all three of us talk about, it's different nowadays. College basketball, college football, it's not what it used to be, especially with basketball. But March Madness is always one of the greatest sporting events, right? Even people that don't watch basketball fill out their brackets and do all those things. To me, March Madness and the FA Cup are two of the best sporting events that go on. The World Cup, different level, I know, but annual sporting events to me is March Madness and the FA Cup, two of the best things. Mike D, you got the winning vote.
It's a FIFA Club World Cup. It's FIFA Club World Cup. To Eric's point, it's in America. Like it's just there's so much draw to it because of that.
Yeah.
For me, and I just think it's super cool. Like I'm excited about it. I
just want.
I agree with you.
Jay, with the FA Cup, was it ever like a huge like underdog to like really make a run at it?
Yeah. There's been, it's went on for 120 years, and there's been some huge FA Cup runs. I have to look them up, but yeah, that's what makes it. That's just what I love. I just can't put into words how cool it is to see a big team like that, and the way that it's not really a seeded process. You know what I mean? Like people don't understand. It'd be like the Yankees. If this happened in baseball, it'd be like the Yankees could get drawn against a single A team in Wichita. You know what I mean? And their whole stadium holds 3,000 fans. And here comes the full Yankees roster. Their bus pulls up. And it might be the only time in your lifetime that there's a game like that in your little town.
Yeah.
And the small team makes a lot of money. They make tons of money from that appearance. So it can keep a club like that going for years.
Oh yeah.
Even if they lose, even if they lose 10-1 to the Yankees, they might get, $500,000, $1 million from that game. And that could keep a small team like that running for the next 5 years or something. It's just really cool.
So let me give you some stats on this. So the cool part is 1871 is when it started. So it's got deep history.
Yeah.
And let me give you, so as of late, since 2016, 2014, it's been the top four. So it's been 2013 Arsenal, 2014 Arsenal, 15 Manchester United, 2016 Arsenal, 17 Chelsea, 18 City, 19 Arsenal, 20 Leicester City, 21 Liverpool, 22 Manchester City, last year Manchester United. Before that, Wigan Athletic won.
Yep.
And then so in 18, Manchester City played Watford. Okay.
So like a team like Watford got to the final. You know what I mean? Playing in Wembley against
But
I was wondering more of like some of those like real small. Like that'd be.
I don't know about winning it.
2003,
no, we're making like a deep run.
2003, 2004, Millwall played Manchester United. And then in 2007, 2008, Portsmouth played Cardiff City.
There you
So
go.
yeah, there's
Okay.
some.
Yeah, definitely. What I did hear a lot though was that Arsenal wins it a lot, so that was good.
I was about to say that. I knew that. Yeah, Arsenal has the most wins with 14. Then Manchester United with 13, Chelsea with 8, Liverpool with 8, Tottenham Spurs with 8, and then yeah.
But it's
No,
great to see those teams even get a couple wins and get a run going through that tournament. It's just nothing like it.
Is
so.
there what's the streaming
that
like
is
for
cool.
that?
It's on. Oh, it's a lot. A lot of it's on TV now. Yeah.
All right.
So
That's
check
cool.
it out. Yeah, it's great, man. Great.
Definitely
So
will.
moving on to our New Year's resolutions. Mike D, we're gonna let Eric stick around for this. Or are we kicking him out?
No, I don't care. Eric, you want to stay around for learning
All right,
Spanish?
we'll
Okay, I don't know what we're doing, but yeah, I'm in for it.
All right.
That's what I
Even
like
better.
about you. All right, our New Year's resolution. For those of you that did tune in last week, our New Year's resolution, we want to work on our Spanish. We want to learn some more Spanish. So we're going to have a Spanish or 2 word of the week. We're going to go down the list. Eric, since you're at the top of the screen, we'll start with you. You got to try to pronounce the word to improve your Spanish.
Yep. So
great.
no cheating on this. And then
got-
Jay, do you want to get out your Google Translate, or you want me to do it so we can?
No, you can do it. Go ahead. So Eric, you give it a try first, and then we'll check your correctness.
All right, so I got it on the list.
Yeah, first word.
All right,
It's the first word. Just the first word.
that's the first word. Okay. Paisala.
I think that was pretty
Sala,
close.
which means
Sala.
pass it.
Pass it. Let me see. So hold on. Give me a second. Spanish to English. Here we go. So pasala.
Paisala.
Can't change your answer.
Pasala.
Oh,
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pasala.
Good. Okay.
Sala.
All right. Next one is Jay. All right, Jay, go ahead.
Say tira. Shoot. Tira.
roll that. Kira.
Work.
Ribbon.
Our technology department's falling apart.
Okay, relax.
We need a bigger staff for this show.
Okay, Joe, I think I did something to where I'm not allowing it to do it. Jay, do it on yours. Do it on your phone. Tira.
Tira.
Tira. What do you think,
Tira.
Eric?
Kira.
Tira.
Gotta roll that R. Kira.
Tira. Tira. And by the way, if you're listening to this, we mean no disrespect at all. We are quite honestly trying to learn.
No, we're trying to improve.
And so this is our starting point. And if you can correct us, and if you want to make fun of us, that's fine too. But literally, this is one of our goals this year is to learn Spanish. Is like we said before, we owe it to the culture, to the soccer culture in America to learn your language. You got it?
Yeah, we're trying. No, I'm working on it.
Jay. All right. So I'm gonna go to the next one while he's working on it.
Yes.
Say it again. Do it again.
Chiro.
Okay. So I got the hardest one because I don't know. Okay.
Oh. Jay's got the hardest one at the end.
Go ahead.
Corre.
Corre.
I feel like I did Italian.
Corre.
Oh,
Corre.
Corre. Yeah.
Corre. Not
Google
corre.
Translate doesn't know how to roll R.
Corre. Corre. Okay. All right, Eric.
Defende.
Oh, Eric Jay's got the hard one.
Defiende.
Oh, defiende. Oh,
Defiende.
defiende.
I like that.
Defiende. Defiende.
Defiende. Defiende.
I like it.
Defiende. Yeah.
I like it.
Oh,
I
fuera
feel
de
like
lugar.
yeah.
Ooh. That
Fuera
rolled
de
right
lugar.
off, Jay.
Pasala. Defiende.
That means the flag is up. You're offside.
What is it? Do it again. Say it. Let me
Fuera
hear
de
you say it.
lugar. Fuera de lugar.
Say it with your chest, Jay.
I just did.
He did before, and then we cut him off.
I did.
As usual.
Fuera de lugar.
Ooh.
Fuera
Fuera
de
de lugar. Fuera de
bad.
lugar. Ooh, I like
Fuera de
it.
lugar. So now we can start yelling that at
Oh my
referees.
God! Just how much idiots do we look like?
it.
Hey, I told
listen.
we made it 1 week. We held it. We held true to our New
We're
Year's
gonna do this
resolution.
every week. I got to figure out a schedule how I'm gonna do this, but my goal is to spend like 10 minutes a day on Spanish and see. I told my friend Omar Aridando about it, and he started speaking Spanish to me in group text or in a text, and
There you
I
go.
did not understand.
Well, hey, thanks for everybody joining us another week on here on Sunday Night Soccer. Make sure you like and subscribe. All of our links down below. Check out the Soccer Rebellion, everything on social media, all the great work they're doing straight from the training ground. Check us out on social media. Send us your comments, things you want to see us talk about, whether it's soccer related or out in the world of sports. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Hey, before that, Jay, Eric, can you send us off with doing something really cool?
Uh-oh.
Something really cool.
Just do an action and no words, just do an action. Oh my God. Great show.